Aloha and welcome to the Neutral Zone.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste.
Thank you for joining us today here on
I've been around
KAKU,
for a long, long year.
Voice of Maui,
So many man
88.5,
sold away.
FM. Also on Facebook Live, you can find my show at
Had his moment of
MauiNeutralZone.com.
doubt and
You can
pain.
find all the shows up here at KAKU
Made
on
damn
Facebook.
sure that pilot washed his hands.
Now, this is
and sealed his
a
face.
song we all know from long ago.
Please
Sympathy
meet
for the
you.
Devil.
Hope you guess my name.
Mick Jagger, you probably remember him.
But
Well, this isn't Mick Jagger, this is me. I went to UHMC, and I had a great class there, and that was a really wonderful experience. We'll talk about education later. Oh, welcome to our show, The Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Jason Schwartz. I keep looking at the camera. I'm so used to being on television, but now I have a radio show, and so it's sometimes confusing because sometimes I'm here with a guest, and they don't even think about television, but we're being broadcast live. I was going to bring on some guests and talk about this election, and I thought, well, let me see, who would I want to bring on that would be an interesting and different guest? So the first person I called was Joe Bradley, the publisher of the Maui News. And well, it was a nice conversation, and he's not really mobile at the moment, things going on, but we had a nice conversation, and he'll be on our show here in a couple of weeks. I thought, from the views of the Maui News and what's published, what an interesting show that would be, because he and I could be friends. He's a very nice man. The question is always, why do people vote the way they do? So I thought that would be a good show. And then second choice, I thought, let's see. We're in a pretty Democrat state. Who else would I really like to talk to and get a hit on what's going on with this election? Oh, Attorney Anthony Takatani. Tony Takatani is very present on the scene in politics and in local affairs here, and I thought he'd be good. And then the third one was, I thought, okay, I left that one hanging. Maybe I thought he might be able to come on the show today. And then the third one I called, that I didn't actually formally invite him yet, is Stuart Stant. Now, as I understand, Stuart works with the county in wastewater and all that stuff going on with our present mayor. And I really wasn't looking for controversy. I met Stuart Stant before he was a county employee this round. I remember when, well, I'll save that. But he was going to be my third guest because I want to talk about waste. I want to talk about what's going on at the dump. I thought to talk about, I call it the dump, the garbage place with the windmills and all the things that are going on and companies that have contracts to do this and that, and what's actually getting put into a landfill, what's somehow being repurposed and used, all that stuff. I've heard about zero emissions and all kinds of stuff. And I wanted to have open discussion, thinking that if we found out what is needed, we could solve the problems. And well, we should probably start talking about the election. I had a really nice time here. If you were fortunate to be down here at Akaku and KAKU Studios at 333 Dairy Road, you would have seen a party in celebration of the election. I would say we had, 100 people maybe a little bit more. Where you can probably see it up on the web. I was just pretty intrigued. It was primary, and so not all the candidates showed up here. I guess they don't think it's important, or some showed up and came up and on and gone, and some stayed. It was a really nice night. I felt a lot of real warmth in the air. And I must say, when I looked through the crowd, everyone seemed to be getting along just fine, which is, like I said, why shouldn't I have someone with different views on this show? Why can't we talk intelligently and nicely in a neutral zone? Because I think that once we talk, we'll find we actually agree on a lot of things. And I believe a lot can be accomplished where we put politics aside and we see what is good and truth and right and what will serve everyone in spite of special interest. I couldn't help but hear Shaggy's show. Shaggy Jenkins is on Monday to Thursday, not only on the Pacifica Radio Network, but here locally. He's our general manager, and his show is always interesting, and he talks at a national and international level. And, I guess you'd say I want to be able to create a local level here. The neutral zone, at some point, maybe we'll go global, but every place has a need for a neutral zone. Maui. And I really thought the election primary was very telling, and I'm going to go through some of the specifics with you. And I think many of you will tell me. First of all, candidates who did not win, please take your signs down. I like Don Guzman. I hope that now Don Guzman, I want to call him a lame duck. He's a wonderful guy, and he has a lot to offer our county, all of us. He's a wonderful guy and has lots of ideas, and I think maybe this is freeing. This is the time you can do all those good things and be brave because you're not running. So maybe this is a great thing, and we'll see. We still have Ellie. She's still on council. And Mike Victorino running for mayor. They came in Victorino 1, Ellie Cochran 2, and Don Guzman 3, Ori Kopelman 4. I thought that was interesting. Way less votes, but Ori, has been running for mayor numbers of times. And I hope that everyone listens to the words Maui-topia. I was going to use that word long ago. There's a whole story about that. But we can have a utopia, a self-sustained community model. I've been talking about this for years, but that's for another show. Because I ran for mayor in '94. That's 24 years ago. And someone was talking to me on primary night here and said, they were talking about what Nikhil Ananda said from stage. He said, he was on TV. He said, we're talking about issues, the same issues that we were talking about 24 years ago. He was running when I was running. He's still running. People ask me, why is he still running? Because there's still rights, wrongs to be righted. And he's a very strong champion. Nikhil Ananda deserves your attention. I'm holding in my hand this Maui Ohana candidates card. And I guess you'd say, from all indications, all of the races of the council are still on. All of their candidates were in the top 2. Trinette Furtado in the primary came a few thousand votes behind Mike Molina. I like Mike Molina. I think that Mike Molina could be much more powerful as an individual, but the fact that he works for the mayor and has a mindset, I'd like to see more about him, and I'd like to have a conversation with him, whether it's on TV or whether on radio. And Trinette is a powerhouse, very, very talented lady, very knowledgeable lady, very capable lady. And she deserves your attention. I can see why the Ohana candidates chose her. She's new blood to this system. In the West Side, Tamara Paulton, I think, walked away with the primary. I remember when she was running for mayor. Boy, in a few years, she's grown. I remember really she's changed in her appearance, and she's much more diplomatic and is a very strong candidate, and I think will be, in my opinion, a great addition to the council. We still have a final, but I'm looking and thinking that she'll continue on to victory. Let me just look at time. We're good. Kiani Rollins Fernandez. If you were in Molokai or have gone to Molokai, you would say, wow, this place is really primitive. And they now have 2 gas stations, not 6. They have 4 restaurants, 2 of this, 1 of this. They have no place for people that are homeless. They have a very nice police force that tries their very best, but there's a problem with drugs there. There's a problem with stealing there. There's a problem with not enough resources there. And all 9 council people serve Molokai. I hope you people in Molokai know that. If you resonate with anyone, you can have them help you. But what can they do to help? That's another show and another discussion, but Molokai needs help pretty badly. Pretty badly. And Kiani is a new and refreshing breath. Well, Stacy is working for the people of Molokai, no doubt. But I know that that race is going to be interesting to follow and see what kind of dynamics go on and what things can be brought up to make things better in Maui County with or without an election. I think elections are supposed to be benchmarks toward progress, not positioning, not positioning to try to pass something controversial. I think if we talked all these things out publicly, we might have a lot better outcomes in many ways. Anyway, the next race. Now, Tasha Kama lives in Kahului, and she is running for council against our present mayor, Alan Arakawa. I like Alan Arakawa. I haven't had any business with him and haven't had to deal with the county on things. But over the years, I've heard many stories, and I wouldn't want to bring them up because I'm not proof. But I would like to think that the mayor has a real good command of his personnel. And what I'm saying is that I think they're yes men. That's the reason I gave Mike Molina a second glance. Because Don Couch, Mike Molina, people that are working under the mayor, I think, they're openly expressing things. I don't know if they can in their positions, but I think things are not transparent. And no matter where the mayor ends up, whether he's a private citizen, volunteering his wonderful experience to help all of us, that would be good. Tasha Kama actually won the primary vote against our present mayor. And Tasha has only a modest amount of money and a small troop of people, mostly kapunas. Very nice group. Anyway, she's a terrific lady. I was thinking to run, but I stepped aside so I didn't confuse the voters or the plate. And I'm really glad I did it. I think that we got a lot of expression from our voters, and we could always have more voters. Please, if you haven't voted. Yesterday I spoke to 2 people. One was 40 years old. He didn't vote. He was helping his sister on another island and didn't do his voting before and didn't think to and wasn't important to him. And the other one was a 67, 68-year-old guy. He also didn't vote. He was working, and he thinks things are so screwed up here, he doesn't think anybody in any seat is going to make a difference. And he's been here, 12, 13 years. So I always find it interesting when people don't vote. Those are potential voters, people that should step up and not only make their opinions known. I think that opinions should be known about what's true. I think that's why I like what the Ohana, this group, the Maui Pono Network, did, mauipononetwork.org, and one of our sponsors, the maumiracle.org. They talk about issues, and issues transcend candidates, and people that look at issues and then match up the candidate that they like with issues, sometimes get the right answer, sometimes, I would vote differently if I looked at this. So I hope people will start looking. So anyway, Tasha Kama, by her winning the primary, I think clearly says that the people of Maui are thinking hard about having our mayor continue on many, did I say many? Years as council and mayor and back and forth. And I've said it before, but chairs on the deck of the Titanic is not the direction I want to see. And the massive development of real estate, some can talk about it as positive, some negative, good discussion, and I think we're going to see lots of discussion about that, I hope. Now, coming up, after the primary, we still have important races. Alika Atai, who became a councilman the last time in 2016, is now running against Alice Lee. Someone told me that the funds behind Alice Lee were the same funds that backed the Monsanto. Alice, I'd like to know if that's true. It's not that it's bad to have money behind you. I just always wonder, why are you running again? You think that there's something that you can add that you couldn't give someone else to do, and you were coming back? Okay, that'd be a good discussion, right? I'm just looking here, looking at these clocks. We still got 10 minutes till the break, so we're good. I should mention, I have great sponsors. Not only themaui.miracle.org, which is a terrific website with great information, but Cash for Gold, and Alone. I know Richard Dan. He's been there, I don't know, it's 47 years. I'm only here 30. But he's a wonderful guy. I learned Harry Eager, who's a business reporter for the Maui News for, 25 years, who's leaving our island here in just a few days. We were speaking on Richard Dan's wailukucam.com Fridays, first Fridays. We used to see Yuki walking around and running those first Fridays. And we would talk about things, and I always thought of Harry as the answer man. We had interesting conversations about things, including candidates, and I learned a lot from Harry, and I think the people that I like facts, and facts speak much louder than opinions. We get a lot of opinions. So I hope to be bringing up some facts with candidates and issues and people running things, and make it a nice local, I want to say the local Shaggy show. No, but not. The Shaggy does a great job, but he works on a broader scope, and we'll get into those issues, and maybe we'll get syndicated in the future. But you know what? Right now, our local place needs some conversation place. And there are other radio stations, but we're establishing that here at KAKU, the neutral zone. It's anything but neutral. We want opinions. If you have opinions, by the way, you can call in. Write this down, 873-3435. 873-3435. That's the call-in line. And as we get going, I'm hoping we're going to get calls in of people that have interest in things. I always hope that people are civil and realize that any guests that we have, they have their own right to opinion. And we're here for gentle peace. We want it to work for everyone. And that's the goal with whoever's here or wherever across the country. In fact, if you want to be on our show, you can call me at 808-874-5900, 808-874-5900, or email us at teamaloha@icloud.com. Kelly King, that's the next race of council that's coming up. Kelly King is a strong candidate running against Zandra Krause, who's run before. Kelly's a pretty strong candidate. We'll see what goes on there. Shane Sinensi, I think that's an interesting race in that Bob Carroll's daughter, I haven't yet met her, but she's running for council. And if I don't know her and I haven't seen her, I would say this is, Shane Sinensi versus Kamala Carroll. I don't even know her name. It's funny. I haven't seen things that show all the candidates except some of these newspapers, and there's so many people running you get lost. But I'd like to see those candidates. But Shane's a good guy, and that's what these Maui Pono people did, like I was saying. They bring up issues, and then they talk about candidates they did major interviews with to see who held the values that they felt were important. So these are really great groups in that they're doing some of the heavy lifting for us. I appreciate the newspapers doing it, but I don't think they have enough staff or energy to do the kind of job that a staff or a group of volunteers of 40, 60, get things done. I'm just looking at my clock. I look on the other side of this card, and here we go. Tina Wildberger I guess you'd say beat. But Don Couch for the State House seat. Congratulations, Tina. I know that she was working hard. She came by and what'd she say to me? I saw you on waving. She's been outside waving and talking to people, and she's a very nice lady. I hope a very strong advocate for things that you know and love. And if not, I know she's open to hearing you. I know education is important, and I know there's a lot of stuff that's important. Then I'm seeing that Kyle Yamashita beat T.R.A. Lawrence. A lot of people I know thought T.R.A. Lawrence was going to beat Kyle, but congratulations, Kyle, on your win. I hope that you can work with T.R.A. I'm sure go over issues that together you could accomplish a lot. I'd like to see that happen. I'd like to see all our groups get opportunities to talk with candidates and see how things that are important in our community that create the animosities, that create candidates and political parties, let's throw that aside and see what we can do about making things better. Okay? But anyway, T.R.A. Lawrence, nice lady, strong, intelligent, capable. I really think that she's a terrific lady, and whatever she's doing, she's a plus. And congratulations to Kyle Yamashita. Hope he works for all of us, right? Dr. Josh Green won lieutenant governor here in the state as well here on the county. Therese Amato lost by less than 100 votes to Roz Baker. Roz Baker, very nice lady, very approachable by me, and very understanding in so many things. I hope that, again, Therese can not only work with Roz, but we should work all of us together and not make these elections kind of the end of it. We want to stay with issues. And again, we're here in the neutral zone. We're going to have people like Therese and others, even Roz after the election season, on here to talk about issues and see what we can do about getting some better understanding of what's going on and how we can do it maybe in the private sector and then get the government to ratify what we're doing that's right. Wouldn't that be a good concept? Michael Tengen lost up country. Let's see, I'm going to be a blank here for a second. Who did Michael run against? Democrat up country. So you're going to tell me that I forgot somebody. Probably so. I'll find them on the other list. But I think that was the Maui Ohana card. In 3 minutes, we're going to take a break. We might want some music before that. I'm going to look up for a moment here and look on the races. Up country. Tina Wildberger, Linda Coit beat out John Bull English for the State House Rep District 13 seat. She's got to face Nikhil Ananda, and in the general that's coming up, Nikhil Ananda's been after that seat a long time. Angus McKelvey won handsomely and strongly over his adversary, and Justin Woodson won in Central Maui here. We're almost ready for our break. Oh, Kalani English. I don't think of Kalani English as up country that way. Isn't that interesting? Kalani has been a fixture around a long time. Very personable. I really, it's funny. I think of him as someone who will do the right thing. I am glad to see we have an election system. I am always looking at these candidates and wonder why people run, whether it's for their own thing and special interest, or whether they really have issues with the people that are running. We got about a minute. I'm going to play a little music maybe after we come back. But thank you for joining us. This is the show right after the primary election here in Maui. And we're going over the races and just some opinions by me about all that's going on and what's happening and all like that. And some of the people that I want to have as guests that aren't here today, we're going to see in person and on Skype in future shows, and maybe have a few candidates on as well. So we're going to take a break for our PSAs, for all our wonderful sponsors. So let me get the button.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off and to wear a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
There must be some more commercials. That's too short. Let's play another one.
Do you like comedy? Do you like music? Do you like finding out what's going on the fine island of Maui? Then you should tune in to The Tub on 88.5 FM. We air every Friday at 1 p.m. and repeat Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Me, Kimo Nevius, singer-songwriter, and an array of guests and regulars take you through everything that is happening here in our happy home. It's funny, it's delightful, it's the best thing you can do for an hour of your day. The Tub.
Funding for KAKU, the Voice of Maui, is provided in part by
having the guts to go in and just say I go through and I don't care what happens. You know, it aches, and if I fall down, I have no fear of fainting.
Fit or Fatality Gym, personal training and pro-level supplement center, located at 982 Lower Main Street, Wailuku. For more information, call 808-895-2567.
KAKU-FM 88.5.
Hawaii Youth Service Directory is online at 808youth.com. We envision a Hawaii where all youth are connected to the support they need to walk a pono path towards health, happiness, and abundance. 808youth.com is a free, easy-to-use online directory funded by the Office of Youth Services. If you're looking for a family-friendly event, check out our events calendar and connect with us on social media. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Latino Connection, heard Fridays at noon, is brought to you by Maui Immigration Services at 2200 Main Street in Wailuku. Maui Immigration Services provides assistance for family or individuals seeking temporary or permanent citizenship in the U.S. For information, visit immigrationlawmaui.com or call 808-201-4303. 201-4303. Latino Connection, Fridays on KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui.
Isn't it great? All these commercials of local businesses that are supporting one. Here comes another one. The Neutral Zone is brought to you by the MauiMiracle.org. The MauiMiracle.org. For a better tomorrow. Today. Wow. And here's another one. Here's my favorite. The Neutral Zone is brought to you by our kind donor, Cash for Gold, Aina Loan. They have been big supporters in our community North for many Market years. Street in Wailuku, Maui. For 5555. You too, if you're a business, even an individual, can be a supporter, donor to help KAKU Radio keep shows like this and other great shows on the air. We are happy to say that we are next to KAKU, AKAKU, Akaku Television, but we are separate and are separately funded. So we need donors to keep us going on. So thank you to my donors and my sponsors, the MauiMiracle.org and Cash for Gold, Aina Loan. Let's get back to the elections. You know, I can run through elections. Here we go. I'm going to go back to, let's talk about our a little more. In our county, Governor David Ige didn't win. Colleen Hanabusa won, but David Ige took the state, and so in the next round, David Ige has a different challenger. And his challenger is going to be Drum roll. Oh, where are we? Isn't that funny that I don't know who the Republicans are? Andrea Tupola, or Tupola. I look forward to having her on the show. That would be an interesting. Yeah, we'll see who else is running and see if they got the required votes to be a candidate running for governor. U.S. Representatives, U.S. Senator. I think Mazie Hirono handsomely, she was not opposed, but she got a lot of votes. 83% of the voters voted, only 16% blank. And U.S. Senator, we have Arturo Pacheco Reyes, 67 votes. Boy, it's funny, isn't it, to see this? People are expressing who they are. And then, of course, U.S. Senator candidate Thomas White, 696 votes. Man, it's amazing, isn't it? This is a Democrat state. We can definitely see that. Tulsi Gabbard, there's some controversy about her, but she sure has handsomely won 79.6% of the votes. I say that, and I'm not bringing up anything specific, but there sure is chatter in the air. It's like I would like to think that with all the chatter that people talk, that we can see some proof, and we can also talk about these things to see how they, how they play out. A lot of times in our world, we see it on a national scene. People talk about values, but yet here locally, when some things need a little investigation. And I'm not just picking on Tulsi Gabbard. There's a lot of people here at all parts of government, and elected and unelected, that have, I don't want to say questionable, let's say less than something that I would like to support kind of past. And some things I forgive and forget, and other things I think I don't. But again, we'll see. We can't cover everything here on a show, or one show, or many shows. Marissa Kearns won the Republican lieutenant governor's race. Again, I mention it because the Republicans are an official party, but the Democrats have major advantage. And Melissa Shishido, running for state senator, she'll be running against Roz Baker, even though Therese Amato is out of it. And then we have Kalani English, who won, and Troy Hashimoto, who was appointed by Governor Ige, took the majority of the vote there for District 8 state representative over Dane Kane, and then Mary Wagner and Justin Huey. By the way, these are very fine people. I have an opportunity, maybe because they think I'm media, but I get to see a lot of people and speak with them, or they even come toward me. And anyway, I hope that we look deep into the people that are running for these elections and find ways that they can help us outside of this election cycle to help make things better around here, because things are not great around here. If you probably have a lot. Or you're like a duck. You have, and you look real calm on the surface, but your feet are going like crazy under the water. So many cars, I guess illegally, that are working a job and two jobs, can't live. At what point does our mayor or our council or whoever has the right to declare things an emergency? If we can put up tents for refugees, why can't we put up tents to help people locally? Not everyone is drug and alcohol on the street, and many people need opportunity. You wonder which comes first, chicken or the egg. We have problems here that I think are at crisis levels that aren't being addressed. We keep building, but how are we closing our eyes to some of these issues? That's why I like to talk about things openly. And I guess I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to say nothing to lose. I cherish having a good reputation for being open and honest. And there are some issues that need to be brought to the table, and we're going to do that. You watch. Some are on our shows. You can watch all of our shows at the MauiNeutralZone.com. I like to think that YouTube or Facebook Even if you're not a Facebook member, you boycott Facebook, you can watch us and listen on YouTube. Isn't it confusing? Watch and listen to us. I'm staring at a camera, so if you're on Facebook Live, you see me. But if you're on KAKU radio, we're only 100 watts, which means you have to search for us. Or like in my car, I can't pick up KAKU radio. So I do tune in and then use my Bluetooth and get it through my fancy radio in my little car. And but you can find us all kinds of ways. And we have a lot of shows. I'd like to be able to think that TuneIn is a good way. TuneIn app on your phones and through your radio in your car, because you can listen to more than just the Neutral Zone. I had a nice time Saturday night with DJs from different shows. We have some really nice people here that have a lot to say, and really, really was a very nice night here, election night. I'm going to go back to the elections here for a second. I didn't really hear, I saw Keimoku Kapu sitting out there and talking. I didn't see too many OHA candidates out here in front. I'd like to encourage Hawaiians that may not be voters right now. We're all American citizens, and even if you believe in the Kingdom of Hawaii and say we really aren't the United States, we're the Kingdom of Hawaii, and you're expressing that, I would like to encourage you to educate yourself about who these candidates are, register, and vote. Your vote is needed. Your opinions on what is right and wrong and who's doing here is wanted. And with the low turnouts, your voice is way more significant than many times you would think. We're a very small island. If a group of people were to decide they want a candidate that's running to be in, and they rallied people together, they could get 1,000. Well, look at Teresa Mato. Imagine if she had 100 people that registered and voted that were new, and but no one knows, but your votes count. They count. And I think that whether or not you're Hawaiian or you're sympathizing with the system, or it upsets me when people are here and don't vote, because I know they all have opinions, but they don't vote. I think that's really wrong. Some people think they should be forced to vote. I don't know, that's conjecture. I guess that's the discussion, but it sure seems like a responsibility to vote. If you're here and you are being affected by things, and you see things that are affecting the world you live in, your kids, your wife, everybody, me, I think you need to vote. I am just really, I feel bad for Kanayela Ing. I know he was sort of, I want to say, the poster child for the young progressives, on someone who was looking really upwardly mobile politically, who ran into a couple of formidable, established people, 3 of them, that came in significantly with more votes than he did. And he has had great ideas. I believe he's the champion to help us get same-day registration and voting. So I know that he's got a future. We'll see where and what he does with his life. But I know that he's a real loving father and family man, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what ideas that he has can be incorporated into the things that'll make our state and our country and our county better, I'm going to quickly see if I've left out any races. I got this digital printout. As it was coming over to the television people, I had it on my phone because the Office of Elections posts it. So all of you know that, right? On elections night, elections.hawaii.gov, you can hit the results button, and as the printouts come, you can get them the same way they get them at the television station, or anybody can get them. So let's see. By the way, they even break it down. There's stuff up there that breaks it down by precinct, by district and everything, to see how people voted in every area. So, boy, it's powerful. If you really have issues and candidates you're interested in, you have come to the right season. You know, I think that Maui is at a crossroads. And when I look at this Maui Ohana card, it saddens me that some of the people that are presently on council aren't on these cards. You know, I know that the values that are held by the Maui Pono Network or the MauiMiracle.org, others safe, different groups. I'd like to see groups for other candidates, see if they're grouping other candidates. They seem to be lone wolves, but I'd like to see what the other candidates have to say, because this is heavily issue-based. And how could people vote against creating affordable housing for Maui families, supporting local farmers and food production, restore ecosystems and water distribution, enact managing director charter amendment, uphold honest, transparent, and Pono government, honor and protect our Aina, Keiki, and Kapuna? You know, when I went to their website, they had many, many issues, and they had solutions in place. So, I mean, that's very encouraging. And I would like to think I never had issues with some of these people that are on council. I was able to get my point across. But it is true that when a vote is taken on issues that come up, or if things are happening that need someone to make it possible to continue and run through issues that and get votes the way we want, I don't think it's premeditated. I actually am believing that if there are groups that are controlling the votes of these people, I'd like to see or know it better. You know, it troubles me when I hear, you know, and I'd like to see. It troubles me when I don't know publicly that the group supporting Alice Lee is the Monsanto group. Maybe you like that. Maybe you're a voter who thinks Alice is great. Maybe you think that's fine. Maybe you don't. I think more discussion has to happen and more transparency. Some of these people that are running have very little money. Now, someone that is able to get a lot of money to come back, there must be some reason that some company would put so much support behind you coming out of retirement, I would think. And I'd like to know more detail. I'm sure we all would like to know more detail, you know. I was listening to one of the forums. Yeah, I don't know if many of you have listened to some of these forums that Akaku, they not only graciously go and cover and put on the air, but they sit them on the air so you can watch them anytime. Sometimes they're difficult because they're so long and there's no pointer like the internet. Maybe we could get sections, maybe the candidates want to do that, take the sections of their candidates and extract them and post them so we can see what responses your candidate gave to different questions. It's hard to wade through some of that stuff, but I think it's really worth doing. An informed voter is a great voter. You know, as much as I like these groups, I would like to think that everyone that's voting looks at the issues and knows what they're talking about, knows what they're voting about. This is really a help for the many people that say, oh, I didn't have time, oh, I don't have time, I trust these people. I get that. But when you look closely, I think you also discover that the people that are there in these seats could be influenced by the truth. And I think also by more public discussion that's covered, meaning we can have discussion about things that are not being done by the administration, but I don't think the coverage has been, It attacks instead of, maybe that's the style of news these days, but there's too much attack and too little feeling like we all want to come to the same answer. Because truth, I think truth is a singular thing. It can get down to what is true and right and Pono. So why do we have these differences? I think we can talk those things out, and I'd like to talk them out before the election. I'm sure some of the candidates wouldn't like to talk them out before the election, but I think we're at a very critical time in our county's history, in our whole history as a state, or in the kingdom. Wait till you see my next guest coming. My next guest is from the Kingdom of Hawaii. What do they have to say about our elections? What do they have to say about all these decisions that we are making about their kingdom? What are they doing? What is their policy? What do they want to do? How are they going to interface? Well, that's coming up. That's another show coming up. I could have gone on and brought another guest here today, but I thought to just take it slow and bring the guest on that I hope to say I know the best, and that's me. I've had a lot of opinions for a long time, and many times I think of myself as the Rodney Dangerfield of Maui. I'm not understood. I don't really think that I am looking to replace many of the people in these agencies and the way they do things. I'm looking to make it better. And sometimes we're here on this island, we all are running so hard just to survive that we don't have the time to sit back and reflect and come upon solutions in a gentle, cooperative, listening, sharing, caring way. It gets to be this rough and abrupt and abrasive communication pattern, and I don't think that's very productive. I don't at all. When I listen to Shaggy's show about all the things going on, and I see that the greatest thing we all need is love. We hear that. It sounds very cliche, very New Age. If that's New Age, then New Age it is. But I think old age can say that too. If we would all care and love each other more, there are a lot of things that could happen before we even go to the government. When there's someone that needs food, you can help them. When there's someone that needs a place to stay, you can help them. A lot of people are afraid, and I understand that there's lots of things out there to fear. How about a safe zone? We could create a lot of things, and I'm hoping that bringing this softness to this political environment won't throw out issues and say they're not important, but will bring communication down to a place where we actually do that. We communicate. We talk to someone genuinely wanting to sit in their seat and see their point. Many things we see get boiled down. They're all reasons, but economics is sort of a giant, a big elephant in the room. And we see a lot of decisions made, and we can't help but think that the Carpenters Union backs this candidate because he will support more building where the other one maybe doesn't support building. Well, maybe that other candidate would support building if we were building something that we need now. So maybe we can talk these things out and see that, well, why is it that do we think that this candidate is going to blindly vote for construction to support what that union feels? Or could it be that that union wants to do what's right because they have children and grandchildren on this island also? And they would like to build the right things and build out our island the right way and leave open and green space. But they've never really discussed those kind of things because they're focused on their special interest. It's a very funny thing. We should, I think, make special interest be that we all are specially interested in caring about someone that we wouldn't otherwise care about. We have to stretch and reach. And we have all these religions around. We can put all kinds of covers on the book. They're all different religions. But the bottom line of, I think, all religions, and brotherhood and caring. And if it isn't, I question its validity, because I think that's something we need to really be focused on, and that's caring about each other. I say it again and again because I mean it. You know, I'm going to go back to something that I talked about earlier. When I ran for council and mayor, it was 1992, 1994, 1996. In 94, I ran against Linda Lingle and Goro Hakama, Ricky Hakama's dad, because the Green Party was getting known and its ideas were really, I thought, needed to be seen. And running for council without a lot of money, I didn't think there'd be as much visibility as running for mayor. Then I watched Ross Perot do his thing on a national scene and thought, you know, let me jump out of this mayor's race into council. Wayne Nishiki, a local, I want to say hero, he's a goat, but to many people he's a hero. He was very outspoken. He was very controversial. He did things for, remember when he came into court wearing chains? I mean, drama. He still is a drama guy. I like Wayne Nishiki. In fact, we agreed. But there I was running against Wayne Nishiki, so I was marginalized in that race. And I watched Goro Hakama and Linda Lingle neck and neck. And then when Linda Lingle got to be mayor, again, I give everyone a chance, just like I think we all should. A chance to do good and work with others. And Linda Lingle did an okay job, except for some things. And those some things are still controversial. And again, I'm not going to point fingers because I'm not the one that's the principal finger pointer. But there are, what do they say? Pundi said to me. You remember Pundi Yokouchi? Our famous sitting statue at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center? Well, I met Pundi maybe, 20, 30 years after that, when he said to me, we don't pick up the rug around here. There's a lot of stuff that we put under the rug. Well, I think we need to pick up the rug. There's a lot of stuff under there, but we need to clean it out because it's killing our island. Things like water. Can you imagine that the state would recognize that there are 22,000 cesspools that are seeping into our water, and that they say it's critical? They didn't say it's casually important. They say it's critical. It's critical. Well, why aren't we seeing critical handling? I don't understand that. So whether you're in that seat or not in that seat, critical means critical. It means handle it before it becomes Flint, Michigan. Let's bottle water on beautiful Maui. Why are we getting bottled water? Because they didn't handle their cesspool problem of country. Or when we have these aquifers and they're getting down to salt, and we know that if we get down to salt, we're in crisis. We won't have water. We know there's a large lens of fresh water. It's larger than Oahu has. But we don't want to bring it out because why? Because then people will think, okay, now we can have mass development. So there's all kinds of things that aren't spoken that somehow need to be discussed openly. Whether we're in the Kingdom of Hawaii, the state of Hawaii, a state of confusion, I still think it's important for all of us to love each other, care about each other, put this election, I know we're now in full bore, as Alan Arakawa would say, it's time for us to run the race, because before the primary he wasn't really running. Well, it's time to run. Everyone's got to run, and more than just stand on the side of the road and wave. Do more shows. Put more stuff of you up on the internet. Put it up on Facebook. Put it up on YouTube. Come see me. I'll create a page for you if you don't know how to do that. Let's have dialogue, and let's see what we can agree on. Could you imagine that? We all agree on issues, so no matter what the final count is, we as people mandate things that we feel are important. Well, I know someone who did that. And actually, themaui.miracle.org. That website was created to bring facts to light. If you go there, you will see loaded with facts. And when you see the facts, it will sway what you think. It'll bring you more to realize that we need to move on things. Could you imagine you have a house and you just bought it for $4 million on Uluniu behind the Times Market there in Kihei, and now they tell you that the sea is going to rise 3-4 feet. You won't have a beachfront lot for $3 or $4 million. If we know these things are happening, why are we going and doing and continuing to the things we're doing? Do you ever ask your representatives that? I don't know. I don't think so. Anyway, we're running out of show, but we're not running out of things to say. I'm going to probably go out with some music and then our credits. We're the Maui Neutral Zone, and as you can see, we're anything but neutral, but we're here for you. You'll learn that phone number, 873-3435. And once we can all hear live shows and not just hear it on replays, we'll see where it all goes. But we want your input. We want you to think of us as a resource for you to ask questions of candidates. In fact, we want to know what you want to ask candidates. And we will be there for you to through the election season and otherwise, bringing things that make this a better place with your help. We're the Maui Neutral Zone, and we're going to sign off here with our closing music. So thank you all for joining us on the Neutral Zone.